Alright. Hey guys, I'm just going to try and redo my vlog. For those of you that don't know, I'm starting a project for my education practicum class 498, which runs from 6 till 9 on Tuesdays. Pretty dark horse project, but I'm actually going to be writing a journal for this class every 3 weeks, talking about what it means to be an effective teacher and kind of my journey through this question in order to figure out all of how my background and experiences are going to fit into me being an effective teacher for students. So yeah, this is my first vlog that I've ever done. Third take though, so we'll try and make this one a bit more interesting and a bit more precise with less ums and less staring down at the paper. So, what does it mean to be an effective teacher? Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the learning environment. What do you mean by learning environment? Well, first you have to present the task or the project to the students. A big thing about that is talking about the goals, so what I expect from the students when they're doing this project, kind of like quality. Also, what meaning does this project have? So how does it apply to the real world? For PE, that's pretty easy. These training principles and how you can improve, you can go out there and practice and become a faster runner. That could be pretty easy. For chemistry, it's a little more abstract, but hopefully I can find chemical equations that exist in maybe cooking or in physiology. So a chemical process that's happening when you're digesting food or something like that. Yeah, so why does the student need to learn this information? And what can they do with it after they've done this class? So maybe they graduate and you always remember those little bits of information that keep coming back to you. Hopefully I can teach some of those so that they stick and they're like, oh yeah, I remember Professor Barber or Mr. Barber. He taught us that. Now the task itself. So you've presented the task. How do you set up the task and task design for the actual project? You could ask students to make a video or a YouTube video, have them do some kind of diorama or act it out. But essentially, is the way that they're actually engaging with the material, especially in class, is it interesting? So maybe have some part of your class, instead of just general lecture, have a group assignment where you group them into groups of 3 to 5, and then they talk about something or attack some worksheet with maybe some separate roles that they have to do within the group in order to accomplish what we set out as in the presentation of the task. Another way of doing this may be a debate. We did a few of these in high school. Some it was just kind of for the argument or against the argument. And others, or at least in university, we've done some debates where we've had multiple sides about school issues, where we've been split up into 4 groups and have the students as one group, teachers as another group, the parents as another, and then administrators of the school as the last. So multiple different sides have slightly different opinions on the actual argument. One good example that I have of just a pair activity that helped me engage in school was in Math 9, Principles of Math 9. I had a teacher that made us work in pairs to try and finish a worksheet as quickly as we could, or a number of questions in a certain time. But the thing is that only one player was allowed to write at a time, and then the other person could speak. So the person that was writing and doing the math couldn't speak, and the other person, without the pen, could only tell the person what to write. So, sounds kind of tricky now that I'm thinking back on it, but it actually worked. I did pretty well in that course, and you learn from each other. If the person that's writing doesn't know a question, they'll just skip it, but the person that can only speak might be like, "Oh, I know that one," and then boom, jump in. So you kind of learn from each other's strengths. One last thing about the task itself is choice. I was doing an article critique for my ed psych class and stumbled onto an article about giving students choice for their homework. And this study worked on giving two choices, either a choice in mediums, so they could either, say, write an essay or do a YouTube video about the project, or two choices in similar difficulty worksheets. So they'll just have two different worksheets and then you choose one. Maybe they're not quite identical, but maybe one's multiple choice and one's fill in the blank or short answer. And they work on the questions like that. And what that actually does is it increases students' intrinsic motivation. Ooh, deep. Yeah, I remember back to high school. I remember when I was given a choice, I was always happy, because then I just didn't feel like I was being forced to do something that I didn't want to do. I could actually have some sort of choice over what I wanted to do. And yeah, that's just a good way to help engage students. So lastly, I just want to talk about social and interpersonal aspects of the environment, which are like obviously in the classroom you got your friends, you're hanging out, you want to talk with them. How does that affect the learning environment? Well, it may affect it in numerous ways, and actually I want to come back to this, but it's not just between students, it's also between the teacher and the students. Setup affects this, so if you're doing group projects, that'll be different than working individually, obviously, because you may not be allowed to talk to other students, which kind of suck. Or also seating may affect this, so if you have planned seating, this is kind of getting into more of a management right now, but let's try and bring it back. Yeah, but anyways, how different people work together and friends learn together may help or hinder the actual classroom environment and the learning environment. Sometimes personalities, you may know, especially for group projects, may not be able to focus well together, so you may have to adapt that based on those people. I may myself have been one of those persons, so gonna have to look out for those kids. A couple of final thoughts. Next time I might talk about classroom management, just so that you can focus on actually teaching and addressing students' needs instead of fighting with the students in order to keep their attention or keep them on task. So we might talk about that. We might not. But yeah, anyways, article in info below, and comment if you have any comments about my hair. Specifically, do you think that having a haircut like this could be negative or taken negatively by other teachers or especially parents? So do you think parents would see me teaching their child and be like, ooh, this guy's a weirdo? I myself don't take myself too seriously. I know it's a ridiculous haircut, so feel free to comment and let me know. Anyways, thanks for watching. Catch you later.